Hey, everybody. This is Stacy LeBaron with the Community Cats Podcast, and I am here with Tabitha Kucera of Chirrups and Chatter. And so we're just trying to bring a little bit of happiness and shine to your day. And I thought I'd bring to you a few community cat voices out there. Many of you guys know Tabitha from the online behavior day that we had back in February. Seems like a million years ago that we had that. And Tabitha, I just wanted to ask you, here we are in a whole new way of living since last February. What are your thoughts around the coronavirus and how are you handling things?
So it's the new normal now, and I'm not gonna lie, I have good days and bad days, and many of you probably do too. I had a day where I just sobbed this week because I'm grieving not just for myself but for everyone and animals and everything. And that's okay. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. And I took that day and I sobbed, and now I'm okay. So there's some positives that I could see that can come out of this. From a behavior standpoint, I always am telling people, what better time to train your animals than now? You guys are in your houses, you're hanging out, you're bored, let's be honest. And if you're bored, your animals are bored. And I've told a lot of my clients, I talk about how routine and positive interactions and consistency is crucial for our cats and dogs. And with this new normal, I tell my clients, now you understand how important predictability, routine, and consistency is, because I'm not saying I haven't been, like, all my speaking gigs have been canceled, lots of things have happened, but it's kind of deranged a lot of us. Like, our consistency and routine has been taken away. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of cats and dogs don't even have that to start with, which can cause some pretty big issues. And also, this has been a fun analogy for me to use for enrichment, because a lot of my humans are bored right now. And my lovely parents, your rock stars, with your lovely children, are maybe a little frustrated and bored. So a lot of our cats and dogs didn't get the adequate nutrition, well, that too, enrichment that they need. So we can see how bored we are. So it's really important for us to kind of take this opportunity and be like, yeah, you're right. This is crazy. Let's use this opportunity to provide some enrichment, do some fun things with our pets, strengthen the human animal bond. And if you're in a rescue situation, you can take videos of you training your pets or providing them with enrichment and share that on your Facebooks to help entertain people. So bring joy, spread joy, because that's a big thing right now. But also give them tools and things that they can do to help their pets not go stir crazy. Because I'll be honest, before this, a lot of the animals I see are stir crazy before this even happened, because they're not getting enriched, and they're not allowing to express their natural behaviors. And again, that's not because people are malicious. They just don't know, they don't recognize it until my dog's destroying things or my cat's attacking me from under the bed. That's because we aren't giving him anything to pounce or kill on. And I don't want him to pounce or kill your foot. But if we're not giving him anything appropriate to do that, I get why he made that game up. So the positive thing, silver lining of the situation, is we are home more. So let's entertain our pets and share that knowledge with all of our friends and family. And as a rescue, if you notice a cat is missing the litter box or a dog is excessively barking, you could say how this animal's not just being spiteful or difficult. This animal is struggling with something. Just like me sobbing the other day, I wasn't being a baby. I would hope no one would say that, but some people would. They would define it as that. I was releasing normal behavior, opinions, upset, grief, all that stuff. So you just sharing with, as a shelter or even a veterinary clinic, you just sharing your pets might be a little more stressful right now, or your pets routines got flipped up because now I know it's great that you're home all the time, but that's still a pretty big change. And for some animals, that might cause some issues. And you just telling people, hey, this is different. Your animals aren't being dicks. They are struggling with something, or they're really bored like you guys are. Let's provide them with opportunities. And that's going to decrease a lot of these people being like, I'm so frustrated, I'm just going to let the dog or cat outside, which unfortunately is more common with cats.
Look, can I just jump in and ask you a question too? Another concern that I have too is it's been great. The response has been wonderful about adopting out or fostering out a lot of animals out of the shelters, but that means we're now adding in new family members at a time where we're all sort of trapped in our boxes. And so do you have any tips for folks on how to best handle that whole introductory process? Do we have an abbreviated version of that we can use, or some tips that you could give people to help with that acclimation process?
That's a really good question. So when it comes to fostering, which again, we're seeing a lot of beautiful things out of this horrible situation. But when it comes to bringing a new animal into your home, not only are you home more now, to be fair, you might have days where you just cry too, and you might be more stressful or stressed out, which obviously our pets notice that. So we have all those things. And then you bring this new animal to your house. We just need to recognize that it's a pretty big change. So I'm always, especially with cats and dogs, I'm going to create a safe place for them away from my animals. And ideally, if you're fostering for a few weeks, especially with cats and in some cases dogs, because we need to understand that animal a little bit more. Every animal's an individual, but I'm just going to keep them in their safe place. So I'm going to create a sanctuary room, and that cat is going to live their best lives, and we're going to foster them, and we're going to keep them away from my other cats. Because to be honest, to do an appropriate cat-to-cat introduction, honestly, obviously, there's no exact time limits, but generally, I tell people 1 to 3 months, and that's if it's done correctly, working with the individual animals in front of you. Because again, that cat might not have a history with other cats, or that cat might be from a hoarding case where he has history with other cats, but humans are super weird and scary. So I think creating a separate place for that foster animal, because also they're going to a new place. And when it comes to, for the cats, I would just create safe places away if you have cats in your home. For the dogs, if you're going to introduce your dog to your other dog, I would definitely be aware of body language. So do some body language webinars. There's a lot of free ones now, because I see a lot of dogs meet other dogs or cats meet dogs, and people are like, they hurt each other out of nowhere. And that's not a thing. Animals just tell us things, and sometimes we don't recognize that body language. So I think, like, my cat is like, let me out of this room right now. She's like, why is the door closed? So I think it would be really important to do your best to provide the same routine that you can. So the animals in your home and the fosters, because this is going to help set those fosters up for success too when they go back to the shelter. So you're going to feed around the same time. We're going to do scheduled play times around the same time. We can control a lot more now for us who are working from home. I'm going to give the cats or dogs puzzle toys around the same time. We're going to do a clicker training session before I go to bed, which for me is between like 12:30 and 2 a.m. But whatever that is for you. So the best things I could recommend is create safe places away from the other animals to start. And in most cases with cats, especially if you're fostering for 1 to 3 weeks, which is beautiful and amazing, just create a safe place away from your cats. And let's not worry about integrating them, because that's a whole nother thing that is a lot more difficult, and we want the best for the animals in our care. And that cat can be happily enriched in that sanctuary room. We can provide them with puzzle toys and fun things to do, and olfactory scent enrichment and clicker training. So a lot of us are like, oh, they're just in one room. I'm in one house, and I'm finding a lot of ways to enrich myself, which is helping me get through this. So that cat will live their best lives in there, and then we don't have to worry about you stressing the cats out in your home, and all these other things that may happen if you try to integrate them.
If you are if you are advising like a staff member, somebody who maybe has either been laid off or asked to work from home or furloughed, or there's a whole variety of different things going on with employees, or you have to homeschool your kid, so you can't go into the shelter, but you want to improve your training, do some professional development. What specific resources do you know of that people could look into?
There are so many great ones. And I'll actually, Stace, I'll send you a list of all of them, just so she could share them. Because thankfully, there's a lot of people providing free or really low cost education right now. Like I plan on putting out quite a few webinars in the next few weeks for very affordable costs, that things like litter box lessons and things that, especially if you work in rescue, if you knew these things, you can maybe prevent people from relinquishing their cats and have some tools and solutions to some of those difficult behavior problems. Because let's be honest, a lot of the reason we see animals in shelters is because of behavior. So I think Fear-Free Happy Homes is a really great resource that you can go online right now and find a lot of great handouts. Fear-Free Shelters, we've talked about that before, but it's free certification for you guys. For shelters. It's all done online and it gives you some basics in body language and some ways to approach animals who are fearful and some other tools to help those animals be happier in your care, which we're all about. Those are the two off the top of my head, but I will share plenty more with Stace because I'll have a whole list because there's what better time to learn, again, what better time to teach your animals than now, and what better time to take this time to learn and maybe create an enrichment program. That enrichment program, because you guys all want to do that for your shelters, because water is enrichment. It's all the same thing. Maybe now is a great time to write an outline of how you're going to start that enrichment program. Create some Zoom meetings with your staff members who are really into behavior. Empower those staff members or volunteers and be like, hey, 5 of us are going to create an enrichment committee. We're going to talk about what enrichment is and create a few handouts. And then once we get, first off, you could provide resources for the people fostering, because the more enrichment, the less unwanted behavior and the less stress. So there's so many great things that you can do with this time now. Although, again, I also understand if you need to take a day to cry, because that's okay too.
That's great. Excellent. Hey, Tabitha, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it. And your energy is just fantastic. And, I love it. And please do obviously keep us in touch with regards to the webinars you're putting together. Again, this is Tabitha Kucera from Chirrups and Chatter. Is there a website that people should know about?
Yes, you guys can find me at chirrupsandchatter.com on Instagram and Facebook. And I hope everyone is staying safe and spreading joy and love and peace to everybody. Smiles to everybody, even though I cry occasionally.
Yeah. Virtual hugs and kisses,
yes,
right?
I know. Guys, I'm an extrovert. This is horrible. Hug me through the computer, please.
Thanks so much.
Have a great day.